Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce our group's member. My name is Siti Ulfah as the moderator and the first speaker. Adhinni Millah as the second speaker and Ibrahim as the third speaker. Here we will present our research entitled Student Perception on the Implementation of Online English Assessment using GFORM. The table of content, the first is the research introduction, the second is the review of related literature, the third is the research methodology. For the first material, which is about the research introduction, background of the study. As has been reported by the WHO or World Health Organization, the whole world is being hit by a disease originating from the coronavirus. In Indonesia itself, coronavirus or COVID-19 has had an impact on several fields that are very influential in the progress of the country, especially in the fields of health, economy, and education. In the field of education, the impact of coronavirus is very significant, starting from the direct learning process in the school environment or face-to-face. However, since the outbreak of COVID-19, the learning process is carried out from home or online. Online learning is carried out from home. This is due to the impact of COVID-19. In addition to learning, in education, assessment is also affected, namely where the assessment that was previously carried out directly becomes indirect. The assessment was carried out using various media, such as Google Classroom, LMS, WhatsApp, and one of them was the GFORM. In this study, we only focused and took one media as an assessment sample, namely the assessment through the GFORM, where the GFORM itself is a medium that is quite often used in assessments by both teachers at the secondary levels and the lecturers at the university. Furthermore, in this study, we examine student perception, their experience with online assessment via the GFORM. In previous study, for example, according to Al-Sadon 2017 in a journal entitled Student Perception of E-Assessment at Saudi Electronic University, online assessment are more effective and efficient, and many students also respond favorably to assessment this online. However, in previous study, there were no studies that discuss a student perception of the implementation of online English assessment using GFORM, because in previous study, researchers did not specifically mention that media was used for the online assessment. And the next point is research question. What are the student perception on the use GFORM as the medium of an English online assessment? And the next is research objective. This study to investigate student perception on the use GFORM as the medium of an English online assessment. I think that's enough for me. For the next material will be presented by the second speaker.
Okay, thank you to moderator for giving me time. I'm here. I will explanation about the review of the related literature, the main point of the research. Okay, the next material is about assessment. Assessment is an action taken to collect information or data in measuring and assigning value to the achievement of student learning outcomes. And then, according to Gurney and Callaghan, 1996, assessment is a core element in the education system to obtain information about the extent the learning outcomes has reached. Okay, the next material, the review of the related literature. Number 1, function of assessment in education. According to Popham and Baker, 2008, in the book Systematic Teaching Technique, the purpose of the assessment is to determine the level of progress and development of students in a certain period. Okay, number 2, kind of assessment. There are two parts, A, formative, and B, summative. Okay, formative assessment is carried out during the learning process, while summative assessment is carried out at the end of one or several lessons. However, in our research, we conduct an online assessment, where the assessment is carried out through a medium, namely the Google Form. Okay, number three, Google Form. According to Saputra et al., 2022, Google Form is a service from Google that supports you to create surveys, questions, and answers with only from features that can be customized as needed. So, the assessment is carried out through this G form. In our research, we only look for the perception of each student. Number four, perception. According to Desiderato, as created by Huda, perception is an experience of something, an event that has occurred or is happening, or a relationship that exists to be able to conclude information or understand a message contained therein. Okay, I think it's enough from me. Thank you for attention. I will back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, second speaker. For the next material will be presented by the third speaker.
Okay, thank you. Now we move to the third material, that is research methodology. In research methodology, we have research design, site and participant, sampling, data collection, and data analysis. And now we move to the research design. In research design, we use the case study. In case study, the purpose of this study is to find out about the student perception and the use of GFORM as the media of an English assessment. Is it worthy or not? And now we have the next point, there is research site. This study will be conducted in one of the senior high school in Garut, more precise in Samarang. Therefore, the participant will ask for there is 5 students of second grade high school for sampling. Now we move to the sampling. In sampling, we use the purposive sampling. Purposive sampling is considered purposive sampling is technique of determining the sample with certain considered according to the Sugiyano book 2006 in page 85. Therefore, we choose the senior high school's second grade for several reasons. For the first criteria, there is students who have or was used to Google Forms so they can explain more clearly about their perspective because they was. For the second criteria or the reason, it is because the research site it is close enough for us and possible to conduct the study. And the last but not least, it is the second grade of the student senior of high school. They will be easier to work with because they know better to speak or express and tell about their perspective than the first grade. Furthermore, they are not as busy as the third graders who are preparing for their final exam. And now we move to the data collection. In this study, the instrument we use for the data collection there is interview. Interview, and according to Crasswell, it is a face-to-face conversation between a researcher and a participant involving a transfer or of information. For the interview for this study, we use the semi-structured interview. And now we move to the last part, that is data analysis. According to Crasswell 2012, there are 6 steps of data analysis. Number 1, it is inductive in form, going from the particular or the detailed data. For example, transcription or typed notes from interview. And second, it involves a simulation process of analyzing while you are also collecting the data. And the third, the phases are also iterative, meaning you cycle back and forth between the data collection and analysis. The fourth, there is qualitative research, analyze their data by reading it several times and conducting an analysis each time. Each time you read your database, you develop deeper. And the fifth, that there is no single accepted approach to analyzing qualitative data, although several qualitative data guidelines exist for this process. And the last of the six, Collective research is interpretive research in which make a personal assessment as the description that fits the situation or themes that capture the major categories of information. That's all from me. Thank you.
I think that's enough from us. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.